All right, hello and welcome. I'm Otis Landerholm. I'm the founding attorney here at Landerholm Immigration, A.P.C, where we fight for your American dream. Today, we're going to be filling out the I-765, which is the request for a work permit. And yeah, you know, a lot of people, everybody needs to work, right? So the application for a work permit, there are many people that don't know that when they file certain immigration forms, certain immigration applications, they're also allowed to file a request for a work permit. And so I want to just kind of talk that through. This is in conjunction with our marriage-based green card course. So check the descriptions below our video if you're filing a marriage-based case. But what I'm going to do, and if you want to check out that whole course, but what I want to do is just kind of walk you through the I-765. I'll fill it out as if I were me, kind of give you a sample of how I would fill it out. So to start with, to find the I-765, it's at uscis.gov/I-765. It looks like this. There's several alerts, some regarding recent parolees, some regarding recent electronically filed extensions based on an I-589, which is an asylum application. There's several alerts here. I'm not going to go through them right now. The I-765 does have an option to be filed online. However, you cannot do that if you're filing it right alongside with your adjustment of status. So if you're filing it based on I-485, like is what I'm talking about in my course, what you want to do is you want to go to the forms and documents and you want to click on the I-765 and the instructions. And you want to open both of those tabs because the instructions are important, and you might even look through the instructions carefully before you go through the form, all right? The first thing on the form says start here, print in black ink or type. You check this box if you're represented by an attorney, and then you're submitting form G28, and the G28 should include the I-765 as one of the types of forms. That's if you're doing it with an attorney. If you're doing it on your own, you don't check that box. And now part one, it says the reason you're applying, is this an initial request or a replacement of a lost and stolen or damaged employment authorization document, right? Or is it a renewal? Okay, so if you've never applied for a work permit before, or according to the instructions, if it's the first time under this specific filing category, meaning maybe you had a work permit under a different type of case before, maybe asylum, and now's the first time you're applying under this category, well, if that's the situation, you need to click the box saying it's an initial permit under this particular category, and we'll get to the filing categories as we go through. So that's part one. Part two, put your last name. I always put last name in caps, first name in lowercase. Carl is my middle name. Other names used, I don't have any other names used, so I would just leave this blank. But you could also put the word none, although it's no longer required to do that. Or if you have other names, then you could put whatever other name you have. Please list every other name that you've ever used as like a legal name. Yeah? It does say including aliases, maiden names, and nicknames. And so, you know, if what I like, rule of thumb is, like I said, if it's ever shown up on any legal document anywhere, then you want to include it. Mailing address, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4 Main Street. That's not really where I live, but just pretend. Oh, here it's asking me, let's see, stay on the page, 94606, Oakland, California. It's not allowing me to put the apartment number for some reason. That's annoying. Anyway, I'll say my mailing address is the same as our physical address. If the PDF isn't working for you for some reason, you could try to download it. Let's see if I downloaded it and did this on Adobe, would it make a difference? Bear with me. Now I gotta open it. Okay, so here we are in Adobe instead of on the browser, and let's see if that same issue here. Sometimes different editions do interesting things. Interesting. If I put suite, it keeps that open. If I put apartment, it doesn't. Oh yeah, it does. Yeah. So I'll say apartment 3A. I don't know. I'm just making it up. Okay. So it had a problem, a glitch, it looks like, on my Chrome, right, on the web browser, but on Adobe it's working fine. And then I checked the box saying that my current mailing address is the same as my physical address, so I don't have to fill out question number 7. Question number 8, okay, if you have an alien registration number, then you want to fill it out here. If you've never applied for one, then leave it blank, and they will give you one during this process. And so for this video series, we're filing for the first time through a marriage-based case. And so I'm going to leave this blank, assuming this is my first time ever doing this. I've never applied for any immigration benefit before, okay? So I'll leave the A number blank. I don't have an online account number, so I'm just going to leave both of those blank. I'm male, I'm married. Have you previously filed Form I-765? I'll say no. Has the Social Security Administration ever officially issued you a Social Security card? I'll say no. Now, some people might have a Social Security card for some reason, and in which case you would say yes. If it's a valid, legal, issued by the Social Security Administration Social Security card. And if you answered yes, you would want to put your Social Security number, all right? But if you answer no here, you won't be able to put that number there. So now here it says, do you want the Social Security Administration to issue you a Social Security card? Well, I certainly do. Yes, give me a Social Security card and a Social Security number so I can go open a bank account and get my driver's license and do all that good stuff. That's a good thing, all right? So if you have questions about that, or if there's any weird thing where maybe you shouldn't do that because there was fraud in the past, or you lied to try to get a Social Security number in the past or something like that, talk to a lawyer first. But otherwise, if this is your first time applying for a work permit and you don't have any red flags in your situation, yeah, get a Social Security card that'll help you improve the quality of your life. Now, consent for disclosure. I authorize disclosure of information to the Social Security Administration. This is where you want to be careful. For example, if it's going to trigger some kind of fraud investigation with the Social Security Administration. For example, if you lied to try to get a social in the past, but assuming that that's not the situation and this is your first time ever doing anything with them, then you should be just fine. Now, my father's last name is Landerholm. My father's first name is Carl, which is also my middle name. My mother's last name is Landerholm, and my mother's first name is Karen. Getting to know all about my family here. Your country or countries of citizenship. Let's pretend that I am a citizen of Sweden, which my great-grandfather was actually a citizen of Sweden. So place of birth, I'll just say Stockholm. And state of birth, country of birth, Sweden. Okay. I was born April 21st, 1983. So arrival and departure record. So here you want to put in the actual record, look at your passport or go to Customs and Border Patrol. You can do this here. Let me show you. I-94 official website. get most recent I-94, hit the I acknowledge and agree, put in your name, last name, birth date, month, year, document number, passport number, and country of citizenship. Hit next, and it should give you your travel history, okay, and your most recent I-94 number. When you have that, then whatever that number is, I'll just, just picking random numbers there. Then you look at your passport, and your passport identification page will have some numbers there. And then your visa, there's a red control number, a red number. It might be different from the quote-unquote control number. Let me show you what this is. U.S. visa image. Let's see here. Okay. So on this example, there's a control number up here. That is not the visa number that you want. It's this red number here. That is the number that goes in the travel document number. So in that case, for this person named Happy Person Traveler, right? Or this person named Amelia Rose Campbell, it's just E00000. Well, that's never somebody's actual. Here's a person, F0000826. Okay, so if that were it, we would put F0000826. Or whatever the actual number is on your visa document. The country that issued it, for me, it would be Sweden. Expiration date for the passport, you could put whatever that expiration date is, January 17th of 2035, for example. The date of your last arrival into the United States, I'll say March 4th, 2023, if I arrived this year. Let's say I arrived to San Francisco and I was in B1 visitor status, just as an example, all right? If there's any of these fields that I'm going too fast in and you don't know what to do or what to put in your situation, that is what lawyers are for. And, in my firm, my team is very well prepared to handle these types of questions, and I can certainly jump in if need be. But yeah, hopefully you're clear on how to answer these in your specific situation, because they do vary person by person depending on how you entered and what status you had or didn't have, right? If the answer is EWI, which EWI, entry without inspection, then that can be a problem. You'll want to talk to your lawyer carefully to make sure that you had a valid immigration status on the date of your last arrival. Otherwise, you may not be eligible for this type of case, okay? So that's a detail that you want to be fully aware of. Your current immigration status, like for me, I might say visitor overstay, right? If I arrived in March and now it's September, I might not quite have, I probably overstayed by just a couple of days as of the date of this recording. Or if you're still in status, you would just say, visitor, Student and Exchange Visitor Information System, this is SEVIS. This is like for student visas. So if you have a student visa and an I-20 and things of that nature, you would want to fill that out. Eligibility category. All right, question 27 is very, very important. And this is one of the other reasons why we always get the instructions before filling anything out. In a marriage-based case, the category is C9. But if there's any doubt as to the category, what you can do is you can look in the instructions. And here, for example, refugees, put file category A3. Paroled as a refugee is A4. If you were granted your asylum case, it's A5. A10 is if you granted withholding of removal. If you have a pending asylum case, it's C8. All right? TPS, NACARA, all of these have different ones. If you're getting OPT through your student visa, all of these are student visa related. J1 visitors, all of these, there's different regulations of which types of immigration status can work under which immigration regulation. And each of those regulations give different types of work authorization. So let me scroll down and I'll show you category C9 so that you can see it. Family-based non-immigrant categories. Well, this is actually a family-based immigrant category. Adjustment of status categories. Here we go. Adjustment of status under Section 245A is category C9. You file Form I-765 together with Form I-485, your application to adjust status. Okay? This is the category you're filing under. You put C9 on your form. Okay? When you do that, you don't need to answer 28, any of these other 28 categories. You don't need to answer 29. You don't need to answer 30, 31, 31B. And so that makes the rest of the form pretty simple. So then you say that you can read and understand English, unless you can't and you used an interpreter, then do it with an interpreter and you say, Swedish as the language, or Spanish if you speak Spanish, or whatever. But I'm going to not check that. I'm going to say I understand English. I'm going to put my contact information. This is the contact information of our law firm, 510-488-1020. Email address, attorney@landerholmimmigration.com. Please don't email me at that email address. Instead, contact our office. Give us a call if you want us to help you with a specific situation. That's the better way to do it. And then print, sign there, date there. If you had an interpreter, fill out the interpreter's name with their interpreter's mailing address and contact information, and they will sign and date and certify that they're fluent in the language you said. And if you have a preparer, meaning like an attorney, then they should fill out this information with their mailing address, contact information, and they will sign here. Okay? And so that is, ladies and gentlemen, that is the fast and furious way of filling out Form I-765. I hope this is useful for you. I hope you got something out of it. If you have further questions about the I-765, hey, give us a call, all right? Or put them in the comments as well. I'd love to see those. And, there are lots of nuances depending on which filing category you have. And so please, familiarize yourself with the different filing categories and your particular situation to make sure, one, that you're eligible for work authorization, and two, which category you're eligible under. Some people are eligible under multiple categories at the same time. When we apply for U visas, for example, you can put A19 as a U visa applicant, but you can also put C14 as an applicant for work authorization under what we call deferred action. And you can do that and actually submit 2 Form I-765s along with a U visa. So those are tricks. Anyway, some of this is what consultations are all about, right? So if you need legal advice about your immigration situation, hey, feel free to contact our office. We're here to help. We would love to help. That's all I got for today. Thank you so much for watching. Again, I'm Otis Landerholm, Landerholm Immigration, A.P.C, where we fight for your American dream. Thanks a lot. Take care. Bye-bye.